I am breaking a promise. I made a statement that I wouldn't go off anything too specific, but I actually have decided that I am going to go off of something so specific because I recently just came across a picture that was so dumb that I have to go off of it. I'm sorry. It is just that stupid. Now the picture is a whisper, which if you don't know what that is, it's an app that allows people to say anonymous things that are usually a little more risky. But this picture literally just says, I kid you not, feminism killed chivalry. Now, before I go into how ridiculous that is because of, the fact that chivalry is not what you think it is at all, trust me. It's not about opening doors or taking care of women or anything like that. Chivalry is about war. It's about a lot of war and killing anyone who's not a Christian and, being a Christian. But before we go into that, let me just say that feminism literally can't kill chivalry, because if it had, that would mean you didn't have the choice to be that way. For you to say that chivalry was killed by feminism is to say that you don't have a choice in the matter. That chivalry isn't a choice. I don't remember who it was, but they said that being a boy is a matter of age, being a man is a matter of maturity, but being a gentleman is a matter of choice. I'm not sure how that counts in feminism getting rid of chivalry. Take responsibility for what's going on in your life and stop blaming other people. Because if you're not acting chivalrous, which you still don't understand what that means, trust me, but your misconvoluted delusion of what it is, if you're not acting that way, that's nobody's fault but yours. Not the fault of women seeking to respect themselves. Now we get to go into my favorite part, the details, and why saying chivalry is dumb. The word chivalry dates back to 11th century France and originally means basically horsemen, and according to Wikipedia, pertained only to men who could call up armies at any time of horsemen and could then go into war. None of you can do that. I guarantee this. None of you can just gather up a bunch of horses and men and be like, yeah, let's go kill some people. You can't do that. On top of that, you have to be of aristocratic standing. And I don't know if you've looked at America for the last, 200 years, but we're not exactly an aristocracy. We don't have aristocrats. Because aristocracy and being an aristocrat requires that money and power travel. Now, you can argue all you want that America has oligarchical standards, sure, whatever, that's another conversation. I'm talking about, on paper, technically, what we are is a democratic republic, and that is not a birthing ground for an aristocracy or aristocrats of any kind. That means you are not being chivalrous. It is physically impossible because you are not an aristocrat. And even if you want to argue the evolution of words, chivalry doesn't get much better. It pretty much just goes into don't follow every tenet of the Christian church, only the Christian church, specifically the Church of England, if you want to go to the 1883 standard, which is kind of the most advanced standard we have for chivalry. And then also it requires you to kill anyone who isn't a Christian, to defend all weakness, whatever that means. It never really says anything about women. And it's not a code of being a gentleman or holding doors or anything like that. Chivalry is about war and about being able to be of high standing and to be aristocratic. Chivalry has nothing to do with democracy or anything that this country stands for, which, by the way, chivalry requires you to stand beside your country and your nation with endless devotion. So, in order to be chivalrous, you must actually go against the chivalry code, because in order to be chivalrous, you must go against democracy, but your nation is democratic. Aside from all of that, feminism, even if it did kill chivalry, didn't do anything wrong. Because, like we've established, chivalry is your choice. Chivalry has nothing to do with how you treat women. And feminism has a lot to do with it. And it doesn't just have a lot to do with how you treat women. It has a lot to do with how you treat men. and a lot to do with how you treat your fellow person. Because what feminism does is rips us down to the very core of just, you are human. Yes, feminism has its roots and is very strongly about women's rights. But feminism isn't just about that. And that's the beautiful thing about it. Is feminism is about the soldier who, while he was deployed, his wife cheated on him with his best friend, and then after the divorce, she got all of his money and his children, and he got holidays, weekends, and sometimes the summer. Feminism is about the statistic that when men think about suicide, they are more likely to follow through with it because they are not allowed to fully express their emotions. If a man is thinking about suicide, who is he going to tell? And you can't tell me that they don't think about that, because I've had guys come to me and I've held men while they were hurting because they didn't know who to go to. I've held friends who were guy friends who repetitively apologized for their tears, and all I could think was, if I told you the same thing, you would never blink twice, but you think you have to tell me that? Feminism is for people in general. Feminism isn't for girls. Feminism is for everyone. Sure, it is contracted mostly of women, but that's because we know how bad it feels. We get that it hurts. And we have spent an amazing over 100 years making progress, from suffrage to better pay to better treatment in public, and we've also gone down in some of these places, but we've gotten to a point where we are realizing that we're not the only ones damaged by misogyny, and we're not the only ones damaged by systematic patriarchy. That everyone is damaged by systematic patriarchy, because everyone is damaged by any kind of discrimination ever. That everyone suffers from discrimination and hatred, that everyone suffers from standards that don't make any sense. Feminism is about treating people like they're people. Chivalry didn't get killed by feminism. Feminism didn't even touch chivalry. Chivalry committed suicide. It can't all be our fault. Everything can't be our fault. Something has to give. If you're gonna follow chivalry, which in your sense says that men are the stronger sex, then why are you too weak to own up to the fact that chivalry is your responsibility, not mine? I have a lot more to say on this issue, but I'm not going to say it because that's at least 3 more videos, and I'm really not about making a half-hour video. Feminism and all of these issues transcend anything I'm saying in this. I am scratching the surface of the value here and of the problem. But I really hope you can kind of start to see what I'm saying and what feminists are trying to say, and look beyond what we've been told and the buzzword of, oh, you're just a feminist. But that's where I'm going to stop, because if I keep going, it'll turn into a sermon. So, though you probably don't, unless maybe you're a feminist, no, this definitely didn't change your mind. I'm just saying these things because I want to, and if you watching them, you probably agree. Or if it did change your mind, hey, maybe, who knows, maybe I got lucky. But if you want to sell your soul, or donate it, actually, I'm sorry, I don't give any kind of reimbursement for your soul. Once it's mine, and you don't get anything for it. It just belongs to me. But press the subscribe button below. If you have anything you'd like me to rant about, go ahead and put it down there. And, remember, apathy is the worst disease. Do a thing. I'll see you next time.